And I'm curious, Jeff, you have obviously a question for the mayor. You're here for a reason. And just curious what your question is for the mayor.
Well, I had to think about this, Phoenix, when you asked me, because I asked if I should come as a business person, a citizen, or a scout. You said to come as a scout.
I'll take all three.
Mr. Mayor, we sort of met because you were kind enough to come to the 100th anniversary of the 31st Scout Hall, September the 15th. And, you know, I've heard words that you've used that have pleased me this evening in terms of youth and culture and infrastructure. And my question relates to that. Obviously, I'm here as a volunteer with a youth organization that has girls, boys, young adults, 5 to 26. We reside in a building that's owned by the city, a heritage building. It's 100 years old, obviously. And I'd like to take you back to December the 8th, 2010, in a Calgary Herald article entitled Heritage Buildings at Risk of Demolition by Neglect. And it talks about a report made by the Heritage Resource Authority, a City of Calgary agency, to the Strategic Land Asset Committee.
Terrible name for a committee,
in which it recommended, it said that there are 29 buildings, heritage buildings, owned by the city, 4 of which are in critical need of remediation, just to bring them up to some sort of a good standard, requiring $1 million. And to bring all 29 buildings back to a good standard 2 years ago would cost $9.6 million. Now, recently in budget deliberations, I noticed that I believe the number was $32.5 million from a take account appeared and was divvied up by various needs in the city.
Oh, I wish I knew about that $32.5 million. There was no such thing, but go on.
All right. My question is, in the last 2 years, what has been the city's strategy and how much money has gone into these properties, or what is the strategy going forward in terms of bringing these properties that are owned on behalf of the citizens, have been paid for by the citizens, to bring them up to a standard where they're not going to be demolished by neglect?
Mr. Mayor?
So it's actually something that I'll answer quickly. It's actually something that we have been working on as a new area of priority. And there's a number of different strategies. One is to better fund the heritage work that we do. And I don't remember the number, but it's not as big as you were suggesting, because nothing is ever fully funded these days at the city. But there is more money going into that every year, into heritage buildings as well as existing buildings the city owns. There's also a strategy to divest some of these buildings as long as the private sector owner is willing to take on the heritage designation and do a better job than the city can do. And so there's a long strategy of those on a number of different places. And in fact, who knows, your Scouts Hall may become part of that conversation as well. Because often the city can't do it as well as someone who has a real vested love or interest in the building. And so we're working through all of these. I mean, a good example of this is Eamons, which we still don't have an answer for, but a heritage building that was in very serious danger of demolition, and the city voted the money to save it and move it and store it, and now I have no idea what we're going to do with it. If people have ideas, I'd love to hear them. But you know, I think that was a real statement from City Council saying that we've got to figure out a better way to manage our heritage, and it can't just be the city buys them all and restores them all, and we've got to figure out a different way of doing it.